The Institute for Faith and Freedom at Grove City College presents Meet the Scholars with your host, Senior Student Fellow Libby Krieger.
Welcome back to Season 2 of Meet the Scholars. I'm Libby Krieger with the Institute for Faith and Freedom, and today I'm joined by Dr. Richard Kocur. As a Grove City College grad himself, he is now an associate professor of management and marketing. Prior to returning to Grove City College, he spent 28 years in the healthcare industry, writing extensively on healthcare policy and corporations. Thanks so much for joining me today.
It's great to be here, Libby.
So my first question is, corporations seem to be taking more political stands recently. How do you see this relationship between politics and business evolving?
You're absolutely right. I mean, they've taken stances on social issues that we've never seen before. Historically, there was a wide separation between corporations and politics. Corporations were primarily interested in serving their customers. But what we've seen maybe over the last 10 years, the last 15 years, is sort of a blurring of the lines where businesses have moved away from identifying their customer needs, creating a product or service that meets their needs, and then marketing or selling that product or service at a profit. Now, businesses are increasingly taking stances on political and social issues that really don't have anything to do with the manufacture or the production or the sale of a good or service. So the lines are definitely blurring, and that trend doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon.
Yeah, it definitely seems like a relationship that we'll have to keep watching as it changes. So as a professor here at Grove City College, you teach a plethora of different classes. How do you incorporate faith into those classes?
That's a great question, and obviously here that's an element that's very important to the faculty. So incorporating faith in my classes for me doesn't just involve inside the classroom. For me, it starts outside the classroom. We all try to model and to be examples of Christian principles to everyone we meet, students, colleagues, friends, family. So for me, it starts there. But inside the classroom, I try to communicate to my students that their calling to business, the skills and the talents that they have around business acumen are gifts, and then trying to encourage them to utilize those gifts as best they can. It's interesting to see the orientation of students move from I'm here just to learn some financial analysis, but how does that financial analysis help me further my talents or my skills? And the use of business to further the common good, right? The use of business as a means of employing other people, as a means to serve their needs through products or services, whether in the profit world or nonprofit. So there's definitely an integration that we all try to achieve in our classes.
I want to touch on, you mentioned using business for the common good. How do you Once students move on from Grove City, they're going to be in a secular world. So how do you equip them to conduct that good business in a secular world?
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest challenges. The secular world is evolving at a much faster rate, and we see a sort of a shrinking opportunity for Christian businesses or for businesses that are not secularly oriented. But I think that happens in a couple of steps. The first step is, as I said before, making sure that students understand that their business acumen, that their skills and talents and abilities can be effectively employed in a business to further the common good, to ensure that customers are served and that, as I said, the common good is served. But it also involves teaching them the functional skills, right? So there's a balance between understanding our position in the world as Christians and ensuring that we have the functional skills and the abilities to go out and to perform. So it's a balance that we try to strike in the business program.
That's great. Yeah, it seems very important to strike that balance, like you've mentioned. You have written for the Institute in the past.
Right.
What do we expect to see from you here in the future?
So I've written in the past on healthcare policy and of course the impact that society and business are having. And I don't see either one going away anytime soon. But what I'm starting to see now, and what's really piquing my interest, is with the kind of the combination of business and political issues. We're starting to see businesses almost separate elements of society more so, right? We now have blue states and red states, and we have places where people will live in community with people of their similar political views. And now corporations are starting to take that on as well. We have products and services that are being marketed to, let's call them red state people, or vice versa. And so I think it's going to be an interesting trend to watch, and I'm really interested in getting into it as to how businesses are serving their customers. Is this just another sort of emotional segmentation approach that corporations will be taking in the future? And I think it'll be a really interesting one to watch, and I'll be interested to try to comment on that for the Institute for Faith and Freedom.
Yeah, very exciting. Well, thank you so much for sharing your insight with me today.
Thanks.
And thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Meet the Scholars. If you haven't seen Season 1, make sure you head to our YouTube channel and go check out those videos, and head to our website at faithandfreedom.com. Again, that's faithandfreedom.com. We'll see you here soon.